Objective 1, variable statistics. Vic number 1. There are two main uses of statistics. First one, to describe. This is sometimes called data analysis. The second use of statistics is to predict, statistical inference. So we're going to use data that we've collected about a population to predict. Vic number 2. There are two ways to describe data. First one, graphically. You've seen lots of graphs of data before. Number 2, numerically. Describing data graphically. So here are three different ways to describe data graphically. The first one is a dot plot. So you see there's tiny dots that show the frequency that certain things occur. So 5, and then you can see the frequency is shown with each little dot. Sometimes they're X's on a graph. A histogram. It sort of looks like a bar graph, except for there are no gaps in between these. And this shows the frequency as well, that something occurs. The third one is a box plot. Sometimes it's called a box and whisker graph. And there are 5 important marks that you will learn about as we go on. Describing data numerically. Measures of center. Sometimes this is referred to as central tendency. We have the mean, median, and mode, which you should be familiar with. Measures of spread. Sometimes this is called the measure of variation, how much our data varies. So we can determine this by the range, the interquartile range, and the standard deviation. These are all values that we will be able to calculate numerically. A few definitions. Definition number 1, data is a collection of information in context. Definition number 2, population, a set of individuals that we wish to describe and or make predictions about. So we have a group of people, and that's our population. Let's say it's a basketball team. That's our population. Definition number 3, a sample, a group within the population that data is collected from. So if we have a basketball team as our population, a sample would be a subset or small group of them, so maybe the starters or the substitutes on the team. Definition number 4, an individual is a member of the population. So again, if our population is the basketball team, then an individual would be a single player, the point guard. Definition number 5, a variable, a characteristic recorded about each individual in a data set. So a variable could be their height, their weight, their free throw percentage. Let's talk about the different types of variables. Categorical variables and quantitative variables. Categorical variables are sometimes called qualitative variables, not quantitative, but qualitative. Variables that record qualities or characteristics of an individual. So some examples: gender, male or female, hair color, blonde, brunette, redheaded, maybe you have black hair, or eye color, blue, green, brown. Okay, so these are not quantities, these are categories. Quantitative variables are variables that measure a characteristic of an individual. So things that you can actually put a value to: your height, your weight, your age. Alright, so let's determine which one is it. So is it categorical or is it quantitative? The number of pets. So you see a keyword here, number. Number of pets would be a quantity, so this would be a quantitative variable. Your favorite holiday. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, these are not values. These would be categorical. Number 3, the number of siblings. Again, you see the number. Maybe you have 2 siblings, maybe you have no siblings, maybe you have 10 siblings. So this would be quantitative. A quantitative variable. Predicted letter grade on your next test. Now initially you might be thinking, oh, a test score, well that has to be like a 95. No, it says the predicted letter grade. So this would be A, B, C, D, or F. These are not values, these are letter grades. So this one would be categorical as well. Alright, so you should be able to determine the difference between categorical and quantitative.